QPR returned to winning ways on Tuesday evening with goals from Michy, Frey and Colback securing a 2-1 victory over playoff chasers Blackburn Rovers at Loftus Road. Having failed to win any of their opening 9 home fixtures, that's now Rangers' 6th win from 7 in W12. I'm Connor, aka Hoopsa. I make QPR match previews, reactions, interviews and features, so if you enjoy this match reaction, don't forget to hit like and subscribe on YouTube. I'm currently on the road to 3,000 subscribers, or give me a follow and a rating if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. It was a busy night for Rangers on the eve of this rescheduled fixture, with QPR keeping fans waiting late for the announcement of free arrivals before the January transfer window slammed shut. First up was the signing of 18-year-old Brazilian left-back Escadina, who joins on a permanent deal from Fluminense. Also joining the dev squad is 17-year-old midfielder Archie O'Brien, otherwise known as the brace-scoring trialist B, in last Tuesday's 7-0 development squad win over Colchester United. Then finally, at exactly 11 o'clock, there was the hotly rumoured unveiling of 21-year-old midfielder Harvey Vale, who joins on a free permanent transfer from Chelsea, albeit with the caveat that he currently has a bone stress injury that will keep him sidelined until next season. We must rate him very highly is all I'll say on that one. I'll be posting a transfer deep dive for Harvey Vale on the channel this week, so make sure you keep an eye out for that one in the coming days. Of course, arguably the biggest news of all is that Jimmy Dunn didn't end up leaving for Sheffield United and will remain a QPR player at least until the summer. Rumours suggest that the £2 million figure that had been floating around was in fact a few £100,000, with the rest structured in add-ons for things like Premier League appearances and international appearances, which, given they could cast him aside in the summer should they go up, and the fact that he's not made a single senior appearance for the Republic of Ireland at the age of 27, felt like a bit of a scam. The club rightly didn't budge, and Jimmy is still an R for the rest of the season. Hopefully, with the window now shut, we can convince him to finally put pen to paper on a long-term deal. Cifuentes was also back for this one after missing out on a trip to Bermondsey through illness at the weekend, and had no hesitancy in putting Dunn straight back into his starting lineup at the cost of Fox, allowing Edwards to shift back into centre-back next to Cook for the first time this season. He also made 2 other changes, one being Frey for Lloyd, but most interestingly the other being Saito for Varane. Not a benching I predicted, but it was one that turned out to be a masterstroke from Marty, because with Chair playing in the 10 and Saito out on the left, this starting lineup was one of the most balanced I've seen us put out all season, and as a result, this first half was near to one of our best. It took Rangers just 5 minutes to take the lead with our first chance of the game, Chair collecting his 5th assist in 8 games with a perfect free kick delivery from the left to Michy Frey at the near post, who expertly glanced the ball into the back of the net for his 6th finish of the season. The pair of them clearly just love playing at Loftus Road, with 5 of Frey's 6 goals and 4 of Chair's 5 assists happening at home. Blackburn twice went close 5 minutes later, Owen Beck capitalising on a failed clearance from a little bit of a rusty Steve Cook and rattling the crossbar before Ronnie Edwards' own failed clearance left the ball at the feet of Dolan, who forced a great reaction save from Nardi. In truth though, this was Blackburn's only real meaningful attack of the first half, partly because of the relentless pressing of Frey, Smith and Morgan repeatedly hassling them off the ball and restricting them from developing forwards, and partly because that Ronnie Edwards mistake in the box was the only real time that he put a foot wrong in this entire game. The guy is a Rolls Royce of a centre-back, continually beating the considerably taller Maktar Gay in the air, who he restricted to the least touches of any outfield player to play a full 90, but most impressively, he continually carried the ball out of that defence with class and calm. That allowed us to play a lot higher up the pitch and spend a lot less time playing the ball around the back. For me, he was comfortably the best player on the pitch. Not far behind him though was Elias Chair, who absolutely relished his opportunity to play in the middle and dictated play in this first half. Everything went through him, and with 2 pacey firecrackers in Saito and Smith either side of him, we looked very well distributed and we had genuine options across the pitch. On paper it meant that we played something like a 4-1-4-1, with Field back to doing what he does best, mopping up in front of the defence, but Morgan was flexible in his position, joining Chair as a second 10 in the press and dropping back as a second defensive midfielder when needed. If we'd been more clinical, we really could have had this game wrapped up at half time. Smith had a dangerous effort from just outside the box on 21 minutes after taking down a long ball, bursting inwards and whipping the ball just wide of the far post. Chair himself could have had 2 or 3, capitalising on a Frey knockdown on 26 minutes, driving through the centre and forcing a diving save from the keeper from a curling effort to the bottom right corner. He had another opportunity from a similar range on 44 minutes, this time going for the opposite side but failing to get it on target. His and our best chance for a second came 2 minutes later, just before half time, with an absolutely liquid passage of play. Saito shifting the ball from the corner from a throw into Powell, Morgan picking it up on the edge of the box and playing it first time inside to Frey, who cheekily backheeled it behind him to Chair. He then steered inside of Bath and looked destined for his first goal of the season, but he could only find the keeper's shins. Had it gone in, that move would have given Koki's goal at Hull a run for its money. So, a very, very good half, the only complaint being that we could and should have extended our lead. Rovers surely wouldn't be as passive as that in the second half. They quickly revealed they wouldn't be, instantly upping their intensity and putting pressure on us at the back. Dolan tested Nardi at his near post on 47 minutes, and 5 minutes later, after a strong power free kick forced a save in the top right corner in front of the loft, Blackburn were gifted a route back into the game. Now, the downside of this formation and personnel change is that it did on occasion leave us very open through our middle. That's the gamble you take with playing a creative midfielder instead of Varane, and it's one that we did truly profit from, but in this instance we were punished. Hedges played into our box with way too much ease and playing a dangerous grounded ball across the area to Britain, who Saito clumsily wiped out for a penalty which Dolan happily rifled into the bottom left corner. Buoyed by their unexpected equaliser, Blackburn would have a couple of chances shortly after, Gay forcing another near post save from Nardi with a powerful strike on the edge of the area. Jimmy Dunn should have had a penalty of his own on 58 minutes when he was unable to capitalise on a delicious ball in from Chair, with Owen Beck pulling him by the shirt like it was a leash, which is one of few complaints I have for a referee that I thought really let this game flow, which was a refreshing change to the usual championship dirge. We started to lull in energy a little bit here. Our energetic press had started to dip, Frey was visibly tiring, and we weren't able to work the ball around in attack quite so effectively, with Saito in acres of space out on the left, but Rangers not really able to get it out to him quickly enough. This led to Marty's first double change of the game, Yang for Smith and Lloyd for Frey. Without doing anything quite as spectacular as his first shot at Millwall, Yang looked very comfortable again at this level, maintaining and shifting the ball well, and once again cheekily stealing the ball from the opposition. Lloyd meanwhile didn't really feel like the right change for me, and he really struggled for composure in this one, undoubtedly battling but having difficulty in making anything stick, and that meant for a while the ball spent a great deal of time going back and forth when we really needed someone to keep it up top. The real game changer was our third sub on 71 minutes, Jack Colback for Kieran Morgan. Colback settled the game down, he helped to shore up the midfield again, and most crucially, 5 minutes after joining the pitch, he would score the goal that would win us the game. It started from an inspired curled delivery from Steve Cook deep into the box, Chair reading it perfectly and heading it back into danger. Lloyd controlled it with what looked like his arm and let it spring to Yang, but the ball wouldn't settle for him and he was flung to the deck. But it dropped fortuitously for Colback just on the edge of the box, and he hit it sweetly on the half volley, the keeper getting palms to it but unable to prevent it from going in. With the lead restored, Rangers set about seeing the game out over the next 15 minutes. Gay and Cozier Dubry would both have efforts, Cantwell would spend a lot of his time rolling on the pitch, but we weathered those final minutes. Fox and Varane sent on for Saito and Chair for the 5 that were added, and Rangers made it out on top. So great to be back to winning ways after 2 frustrating ones, especially Millwall away, and ahead of the rest of the league playing their next round of fixtures. We're back to being 3 points away from the playoff places. We looked so much better with Jimmy back in there again. With 15, he won the most duels of any player on the pitch, and I genuinely do think we'd have got something at the Den had he started. What a lift that would be if he decides to sign a contract in the coming days. The lovely surprise here was that Michy tried something different, and particularly in that first half, it really did work. It might not always be the go-to option, particularly away from home, but I can really see Chair's future back in the middle with some agile and pacey wingers springing off of him, and that excites me a lot. With Dembele's return imminent too, and Collie even an unused sub, we're actually starting to look like we're going to have some depth for the back end of the season. And with no fixture this weekend, we now have a week to prepare for a tricky trip to Coventry next Tuesday. So that's all from me. Do let me know, as usual, your thoughts on the game in the comments below. Do make sure to keep an eye out for my Harvey Vale deep dive in the coming days, and hopefully I'll see you again for my Coventry preview. Cheers!